Hello, hi everyone, and welcome to the virtual Cantina Intergalactic Newsdesk. I believe this is Newsdesk number 7. The Newsdesk awakens. I'm Mark Von Olen, and I'm here with Gary O'Toole. Hello, Gary. How are you doing?
Hello, Mark. I'm not going to Celebration Van Olen. So can we
It
can we
was
just
not a
discuss?
gag, I promise.
April Fools.
I
Boom,
know.
sorry.
So, as we get into the details of the show, I think the first thing we should state is that, oh my God, today is April Fool's. So, anything you read on the internet is even more suspect than usual. Just in
Indeed.
my few hours of being awake today, here's what I've read. Kathleen Kennedy is getting fired, which is a regular thing in the Star Wars fandom. Kathleen Kennedy is taking over as CEO of Disney. That was a new one. Um, Ryan Johnson will be at Star Wars Celebration to announce his new trilogy, which will feature Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver reprising their roles of Rey and Ben Solo.
hmm
Um, and I saw that The Mandalorian is canceled. So it's been a great day on Twitter. No one's overreacted to all of this fake news in a terrible way at all. So, yeah, honestly, like today's the day to delete Twitter if there ever was one.
Wait, so you mean Mark Hamill is not coming to the virtual Cantina network? And also, if the rumors are true, I have heard on good authority, may not be true with the day that's in it, but we still have to confirm it, that apparently Dave Filoni wears Spencer Joust's pajamas.
Oh boy. All of those sound highly suspect, but possible. We don't have proof that it's not true, and we'll use that as our it could be true. But yeah, so fair warning to everyone out there today. Like, if you read something sensational and is immediately eliciting like an emotional response, especially one of anger, it's probably fake. Which I think is like the starting point of most things on the internet, especially like from a reputable source. The problem is that today, even the reputable sources are putting out nonsense as an April Fool's joke. Also, all your friends who might be saying they're pregnant today, which, by the way, like that's not a good April Fool's joke. Give that another look too. I treat the internet even more suspiciously than you would on a normal day is sort of the call to action there. But everything we're going to talk about on this show is 100% true. We're not doing April Fools today here at the news desk at all.
My favorite April Fool's Day thing is when the companies produce fake products, and then things like Think Geek actually produces a fake product and then makes it later on, which I thought was really cool, with like the Bantha
Yeah,
part of the Bantha sleeping bag and some stuff like that.
that was cute. Yeah.
We can at least applaud the creativity of some of the media teams out there. It does always drum up a good bit of fun.
Yeah, there's a few that are funny, and then there are others that are a little cringeworthy. I think like
Cringeworthy.
all
Yeah.
things corporate Twitter, right? You never know what's going to land and what isn't. When I worked at Mondelez, we always put out fake flavors of like Oreo and Chips Ahoy and things like that.
Mhm.
Those were usually cute, and most people knew we were lying. And it was like an easy like, oh, you got us. And then in other times, people would get really upset and think that this was like a real thing. I was like, we're not doing like a fish flavored Chips Ahoy. Don't worry. There's no Chips Ahoy coming with sardines in it. But yeah, so let's get into some real news because this is the final news desk of the final virtual Cantina news desk before we get to celebration. And now I'm going to say we because if anyone didn't see on Facebook, I am officially attending the show now after weeks of saying that I will not be going and you will not find me there. So last minute plans changed. I'm going to be at Celebration at the De Novo booth. So if you are looking to meet me Friday through Monday, I'll be running the booth at the show. Come find me at booth N600. We'll have all the De Novo helmets on display. I'm going to be working the whole time, but I'm also going to be doing all the VCN related after party stuff. Like I'll be at Boonta Eve. I arrive on Wednesday, so I don't think I'm going to make it to the not so virtual Cantina meetup. By the time I get in, it's going to be really tough. But I'm staying through Tuesday morning, so Sunday night I'm going to go to Cantina too, and that's kind of it right now. The dance card is filling up, but I'm excited to be over there. This also means that the news desk is going to look a little different, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show as we get into like our coverage that's happening throughout Celebration. So we'll give everyone the details on that. But for today's show, we have two major topics. One is exhibitors, and two is last minute packing and sort of final prep for the show. Gary, are there any exhibitors that, beyond anyone else, you think are like a must do on this list?
One that I actually got recommended from somebody was A1 Toys Limited. They're one of the oldest, I suppose, oldest retro comic / toy stores in the UK, and they are booth S658. So I'm always curious to pop along and see what the sort of old school retro shops will have on offer. And another one that was recommended, if I could just find it here now, is something that we should probably just be mentioning for all the collectors out there is the grading booths. So CGA are there and CGC are there. So CGA are in S208 and CGC are in N720. So if you are looking to have any of your stuff that you've gotten signatures on previously, or whether you're just adding some new stuff to your collection and want it graded, those would be two of the first stops to make. Speaking from me personally, I'll be visiting Citizen in booth S800. I collect watches, so I will be popping along to have a gander and see what's going on. But I think from your perspective, Mark, we've sort of put together a list of the real heavy hitters.
Yeah, I went through, and by the way, everyone can go to the Star Wars Celebration website, click into Explore the Show, and then view all the vendors who are coming, and they give you an alphabetical list. It is not super complete, and guess why? StarWars.com reaches out to everyone and asks them for a logo and a description of your company. And you'd be shocked at how many people didn't fill out that basic info. I lost my mind when I clicked the link and I was like, my company has a logo and a booth number and a description. This isn't that hard. So how are there people on this list who paid money for a booth who didn't fill out the form? That blows my mind. So you may have to then just there's not even a link to the website at that point for some of these companies. I'm not familiar with some of the more British only companies, like the ones that are not global worldwide. So if you know of any, Gary, that I don't know about, we might be able to talk to those. But yeah. I surveyed the list and pulled together what I think are the big heavy hitters that everyone in the fandom should at least swing by the booth and see what's happening there. The first two I have on here are Hasbro and Lego. Hasbro is in booth N200, and as we know, they are the official licensee for action figures and much more for Star Wars. They're probably the biggest licensee along with Lego. I'm not 100% sure of that. I don't know everyone's real revenue numbers, but Hasbro's ginormous. They obviously have a ton of brands outside of Star Wars. They have their own brands. They own Power Rangers now, which is very exciting. And they do have an exclusive for the show. So that was one of the other reasons we wanted to bring this up. So they have a Revenge of the Jedi Darth Vader figure, which is to celebrate the 40th anniversary for Return of the Jedi. $33.99. I'm gonna read the description. Revenge of the Jedi, Episode 6's working title, was featured in the film's first trailer and early promotional materials, but just before its release, the name was changed to Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Commemorate the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi with this Darth Vader figure from the Black Series, featuring classic design and packaging. It's a premium 6-inch Darth Vader figure inspired by the design and color palette of the original Revenge of the Jedi poster. Fans can display this figure, which features premium detail and multiple points of articulation, and it includes the lightsaber as well. And it's available exclusively at Star Wars Celebration as a pre-order. So you won't be able to physically buy it there and bring it with you. And I think a lot of places are doing that as well. And then there's also a limited quantity available for pre-order on HasbroPulse.com after the convention while supplies last. So assuming it doesn't sell out, or based on how sales go, maybe they'll have a small amount available on HasbroPulse.com. What do you think of our... Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm going to need that. I'm an action figure guy, and any Celebration exclusives are my thing when it comes to action figures. I'm not a big pop guy or a Lego or whatever the other exclusives are quite so much, but action figures, that one's got such an amazing deco with the red kind of tone going on and everything. It's very cool.
Yeah, I think it looks great. Gary, what do you think? Are you getting in line for this guy?
This particular one, no, I won't be. I'm not a huge collector of the 6-inch figures. In terms of collecting, for me, I would be more sort of the Hot Toys / Diamond Select collecting side of things. But I mean, this one will no doubt go. I mean, the packaging or the actual Vader colors is the 40th poster color palette, so we know that's beautiful. So I can imagine this one will sell out fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think this will be one of the hottest items. Also, if you go to, like I said, the Celebration website, so StarWarsCelebration.com, click into the vendors. There's an alphabetical listing. You can go straight to H for Hasbro. They have a description. There's a link to their website. You can shop their store. And under exhibitor exclusives, there's actually a photo. So you can see what this guy looks like. There's a lot of red built into Vader's look. Sort of, I think that was sort of a lighting thing on the poster to make it look like it's glowing. But like you see that in the actual physical plastic, like red all over it. I think it looks amazing. I kind of want to get one of these. So I may have to send a minion to secure me. And by the way, my husband's coming with me, so he will be said minion to go shopping for me at the show, since I'm going to be chained to the booth the entire time. But yeah, I think this is a good start. Iconic character celebrating the 40th, relatively affordable, $33.99 US, which is $34.99 GBP, and €39.99 euro. Those numbers are really close. Like usually there's a bigger variation there, because I think the exchange rate is still 80. Like we're getting 80% of our dollar for a pound, is my understanding. 80 cents to the dollar pound.
Yeah, the euro is pretty close. I think we were losing maybe 10 to 12 cent per euro to sterling, give or take. So there's not much in it.
Yeah. That's also on our packing list as a reminder to everyone. Try to exchange your currency at a real currency exchange, and not the airport.
Don't do it at the airport, for the love of God. Do not do it at the airport.
You'll lose another 10 points minimum. So I actually have to send my husband to do that too. He's got a little checklist to take care of. All of this is coming together very last minute. So for anyone who wants the true behind the scenes on this, I was informed on Tuesday that I'm attending the show. And so we had to book our flight, hotel, and everything else with basically a week to go. Fly out Wednesday, come back the following Tuesday, and sort out everything at work, right? Because I'm out of the office for a week. I'm sure a lot of people who are attending Celebration are also gone for about a week and, took vacation from work and all of that. Imagine doing that with like 4 working business days, planning to then sort out all your schedules and everything else. So while I'm also going to sort of technically I'm going to be working at the show. So it's a little crazy, but I'm very excited. I'm thrilled to be going. I'm so happy I'm going to see Gary in real life. Spencer's going to be there. A lot of people from the VCN, everyone else, really excited to see you guys at the show. So it'll be a good time. All right. After we go to Hasbro, and I do think that's an early stop on the list. What do we think is next? We think Lego makes sense as like another big stop.
For me, it would be the one after this. Well, to be honest, the one after this for me would be number one, but we can get to that for later on. I might be heavily biased when it comes to it, but yeah, Lego is I think will definitely be one of the big hitters. And to be fair, any booths like that, we know the queues are going to be absolutely through the door. So is there anything in particular we think that people are going to hit regards the Lego booth? Do we
I did a little research, because once again, I don't think they filled out their form. Like it puts a description of the company for Lego on the Celebration site, but they don't talk about exclusives, and they didn't specifically talk about Star Wars. It just talked about like the company's mission statement, as if we don't know what a Lego is. So that wasn't particularly helpful. They are on the north side. They're in booth N320. And my expectation is that they're going to put on a huge display show like they always do. At the last Celebration, they had that big summer vacation set up with like the Lego Vader, and you could take a picture in front of it. And it was packed the whole time. So Lego doesn't really need to advertise. Like they really don't. And I got to tell you, we have Lego sets now that we bought 10 years ago that have tripled in value. The joke is that you could buy Lego more than you could buy gold and do better in your investments. So whatever they end up having at the booth, it will certainly be a destination, but there's no information out there about exclusives or reveals. I don't know if they're going to bring any Indiana Jones with them, considering that's also a Lucasfilm property, and that's the next big theatrical from Lucas. I'm hoping they'll have some announcements on new products. I'd like to see some new stuff from The Mandalorian, especially this new season. Love some more minifigs. I wish they would just do minifigs as buyable items on their own. Like that would be the one thing, if I could ask Lego for something, it would be that.
Yeah, I think from my POV, having looked at everything, I think the helmet series for them has been working really, really well. Anyone who has seen the latest Cody and Rex Lego clone helmets, they are beautiful, and they're becoming quite sought after. I think people are still finding it hard to get their hands on them. So I have a sneaking suspicion we might see some new reveals of some more from the Helmet series. And if they were going to show it off, then with the amount of Mandos coming up, then Mandalorian seems like a likely candidate to showcase some more stuff. Maybe something like a new version of the N1.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Maybe even moving on to Bo's ship as well. So there's a lot of possibilities. Or I thought I seen somebody on Twitter posting, man, we would love to start seeing Lego lightsabers do the rounds. So
I don't know if
that
Hasbro is going to allow that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff where lightsabers are a very tricky topic, especially right now because the high-end ones are being made at Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, a lot of people want a slice of that good lightsaber money.
Yeah.
All right, one I forgot to put in the all right. So I think the big three, I said big two before, are Hasbro, Lego, or Hasbro and Lego. I think the big three are Hasbro, Lego, Funko. Funko is also at the show. They're at booth N700. I'm sure that everyone who's a Star Wars fan has at least one Funko Pop of some Star Wars character. I mean, I have Bo-Katan right here. She keeps me company every day. So she's hanging out here, future ruler of Mandalore. By the way, great episode for Bo-Katan in the latest episode of The Mandalorian. I did not predict how the season was going to go. If anyone has been keeping up with me on Rebels Revisited, I have been championing the fight between the Armorer and Bo-Katan for months now, and it turns out they're best friends. And not to spoil anything, but like the Armorer and Bo-Katan having a moment toward the end of this episode, this like weird understanding of each other in a way that actually like kind of comes out of nowhere. And like, and I'm not even sure 100% if it's earned, but like I think it's moving in the right direction. And we're placing our bets on Bo-Katan again, which maybe she's the right person to unite Mandalore. I always said she was in the consideration set. So you know what, I would love if there's like another Funko of Bo-Katan, because I believe this is a Rebels one or a Clone Wars one. Actually, this looks like Mando. I can't even tell. But let's get one with Katie Sackhoff's face, and maybe she can hold her helmet. Like, I would like to see some of the unhelmeted Mandos. Like, we just got Pedro Pascal's version with little baby Grogu, I think last year. So can we get a Bo-Katan Funko Pop with the good hair, the good wig from this season?
I think we could see something like a Bo-Katan putting the training gauntlet on little Grogu with the training darts. I think that would
so
be
cute.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting one. But I gotta say, as much as I've been loving the episodes as well, there's been a lot of Paz Vizsla, and I am here for it. It's been amazing. It's been nice to see another character come out of the shadows and get some more valuable screen time and actually making a difference and having their own mini arc, which I think will certainly continue.
He made me nervous as his speech started. You know that meme where it's like, they got me in the first half. Like, it was very that, right? Like, you think that he's going to say that, why should we do all this again? And he's like, I'll tell you why. We're Mandalorians and we're going to take care of each other. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. Like, it was very that, right? So he sort of knows more than I think anyone other than the Armor and Din, the staying on the path and like what it means to take care of one another, even if he has like a personal issue with said person, right? And it was very future forward and taking care of the children, which I thought was really noble. So he rallied the rest of the Mandos in a way that like Mando had hoped to, but Mando's like a man of few words, and Paz is as well, but Paz's speech was really galvanizing. So yeah, I'm hoping that he remains an ally and doesn't become a villain. Although his last name, someone is going to call him out on that. Like, Pre Vizsla was the leader of like the insurgents, like the terrorist cell back in the day. And Bo-Katan, in theory, he and her should have tension because like the Vizslas, which, you know, I know she was a part of with Pre Vizsla, he should be like, don't you know my dad or my uncle or whoever? And didn't you guys team up with Maul? And didn't your sister die? Like, there's a lot of baggage to unpack there, and we haven't gotten there. And there's easy tension and conflict just baked right in. I'm waiting for that to explode, and I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. There should have at least been something, again, an acknowledgement, right?
Well, you hit the nail on the head for me. I can't imagine there's not a place where they don't acknowledge Satine in that respect, in some shape or form, how they can find a workaround. But I'm very, very wary now because the Armorer is bringing in somebody who can walk both worlds. And as we know, we're not giving, hopefully everyone has seen the last episode, but spoiler alert if you haven't, the best place to hide something is in plain sight. So I'm wondering what avenue that's going to go down based on what we've seen at the previous episodes. So it'll I think next week is going to be a bumpy ride, which we should say, doesn't the next episode go live the night before Selly kicks off?
It'd be Wednesday. It's still Wednesday, right?
2 nights
They're
Wednesday.
before.
moving it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because
Yeah.
celebration really starts Friday. I'll
No,
be
it starts at the after parties. It starts the Thursday.
yeah. I'll be
Boonta
building the damn
Thursday.
booth on Thursday. So there's that. And then yes, Boonta Eve is Thursday, which by the way, we're gonna get into all the after parties as a reminder. And I know there's some like updated guests as well coming to Boonta and Cantina that we haven't spoken about. So we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the show. But I'm so excited about all of these things happening because I had such the worst case of FOMO. And now that I'm going though, I'm having like a panic attack. Like I really thought my passport was expired, even though we just re-upped them last summer. We were planning to go to Canada and cancel the trip last minute because there was like a huge spike in COVID right around that time. And I was like, okay, we'll just cancel that trip, but we still updated our passports. So we're good. We're ready to go. The flights are booked. I just have to like literally make it to the airport. Like one step at a time, do the steps. All right. So Funko, please give us a Bo-Katan unhelmeted, a Paz Vizsla, I don't know, maybe just a rando Mando, like, some type. I think that would really be fun. I think an Omid would be fun. I think they have him actually. I have to double check.
Multi-Mando.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be cool if like the helmets came off. Like I know this is like a spring on here, but like if you're able to swap the helmets, that would be really fun. Okay, so Funko, Lego, Hasbro, those are easily the three biggest licensees in like true consumer space, right? Like outside of like apparel. By the way, I didn't see Her Universe on the list, which is weird because Ashley is going to be there, but Her Universe doesn't seem to be on the exhibitor list. I thought that was strange.
I don't remember seeing it either.
No, they've never missed a show as long as she's had this license. So I don't know if it's because it's in England. And I will say the exhibitor list is smaller than usual. I was surprised as I was clicking through and I was like, where is so-and-so? I'm not going to call anyone out by name other than Her Universe because I thought it was strange because Ashley's going. Where is so-and-so kept coming up in my head. But the big ones are there. Lego, Funko, Hasbro. And then also, I'll say a big one for me, the new Odoho. Please come by to booth N600 and say hello. You can meet me and check out all of our high-end costumes and collectibles. We have some, we're going to have basically the whole range available for display. Everything will be sold on the website. We are not bringing product to sell at the show. We're going to push you to the website, but we are running a sale, 15% off helmets. We're doing free domestic shipping, 10% off, or 50% off international shipping. It's going to be 10% off costumes. And then we have two new reveals. We have two Mandalorian variant helmets that are going to be revealed at the show. We're doing the battle damaged helmet from chapter 8, which is when he gets into the firefight, with the big fireball, and the muddy helmet from chapter 2 when he fights the Mudhorn. So these cool like paint deco differences, you'll get to see those. And we're bringing our Bo-Katan helmet as well. So there's going to be a whole Mandalorian destination wall that includes all of those items and the jetpack kit. We've assembled a Django version and a Boba Fett version, so you can pose with that. It obviously is a kit and it comes unassembled, but we wanted people to see what they look like, so you'll get to check out all that stuff at the booth. And I'm in the same large space as costumes.com, which is a retail channel that sells Star Wars Halloween costumes and whatnot. So they're right next to me, and a lot of my extended family of coworkers are going to be there, so come check them out as well. They have their booth is actually going to look really, really cool. I've gotten a look at like the design and it looks fantastic, so I'm excited to be there at booth N600. If you just want to come and say hi with me and maybe take some pictures in our helmets, they're a lot of fun.
This is probably one of the number one booths for me, and myself and you have chatted about this before. As a 501st and Emerald Garrison member, somebody who builds their own costumes and their own props, I will no doubt be hovering around the booth getting a look at the material, because this is stuff that I could literally talk about all day long. What are the materials? What are the paints? What are the techniques used for the decals? So this is something that I am very, very interested in, obviously due to the high levels of accuracy, but also having a look at how yourselves do work. It helps improve our skills because we might see something that we didn't think of before, or perhaps see how kits are effectively put together, which helps us with research for our costume. So I'll apologize in advance for hanging around as long as I do. But
Come
this
spend
one
the
is
day. You're invited.
Oh no,
Um,
you
yeah.
have no idea, and I've said this to you before, maybe that we could record a show at some point,
Mhm.
just literally talking about the licensing and the props and costume side of things, because it is such a fascinating topic. And for anyone who hasn't seen the boots and the products, when you're talking about high level accuracy, intricate levels of detail, and essentially as close as you can get to what is effectively on screen, it doesn't get much better than that. So if you are maybe interested in the higher end collecting side of things, or whether you are an amateur prop builder, costume maker, pop along and see how it's done, because it will genuinely blow your mind. So this is one that I will definitely be popping by every chance I get, for sure.
Well, thank you, Gary. I appreciate the kind words. We'll definitely film something at the booth. And for all the other 501sters, I understand that there is a party happening Saturday night, and there might be gift bags at said party. De Novo is going to have something to insert into said gift bag. James Burns and I have been working behind the scenes and to get you guys a special discount code that will be available for purchase if anyone is interested in buying or trying out any of our De Novo items. We're also going to donate a helmet for the auction. So James and I have been coordinating, especially since now I'm attending the celebration, we've been coordinating behind the scenes on this because we know the 501st is probably like our target demo for all things De Nuvo. It just makes sense. So outside of
for that,
but yeah, I'm thrilled to be included. So for anyone who doesn't want to spend $700 on a helmet, though, and I get you, it is a very specific target. There is another set of collectibles that I think is super compelling, and we're going to talk a little bit about it now. Pins on Fire, and I know, Gary, you're a pin guy. This booth, it's booth S830. They specialize in collectible convention exclusive pins. So be sure to come to our booth to pick up the Star Wars Celebration 2023 exclusive fig pins for Santham and Savaggio Press. They're also going to have the 2023 pin trading event exclusive pin Sabine Wren. So that's super exciting. I would definitely click in, and we have pins from having been to Disney and having gone to Celebration. We're debating whether we bring a lanyard and bring some pins to trade. My husband kind of likes that, and it's a great way to like engage with people and talk to people. I don't want to spend any more money, but at the same time, I want everything Rebels related, and there are numerous Rebels pins at this show. So if anyone would like to donate a Rebel pin or trade a Rebel pin with me of any type, I may have my lanyard.
Yeah, I think pin trading is obviously huge every year. You can't see it behind me, but I have a memory box of, I managed to track down every single pin from Celebration 2016 and 17. So I have all of them together. Yeah, it was amazing, and I believe myself and Spencer queued for hours to actually get the Thrawn exclusive one. We were in the queue for a long time for it. But fig pins seem to be getting bigger and bigger. They weren't enormous here in Ireland, but you're starting to see them pop up in the likes of the Disney store over here. Some GameStops, I think, have had them. When you go to the States, they certainly have, but you're starting to see them pop up more and more here, and they are a really nice pin. They're a bigger pin, they're a heavier pin, they're made of a much sturdier material than you would be used to seeing in the traditional sense of a pin. So I can imagine the Sabine one is one that will go very quickly, as will the Forbidden Planet exclusive sponsored pin, which is Chopper.
Yeah, I believe me, I need all of those. My goal is to have a set of like the whole Ghost, especially with Rebels being so hot right now. And obviously, we were just talking about Mandalorian, the latest episode. I think at this point we can talk spoilers. Like it's cleared on the channel for a spoiler discussion. They just did the watch along on Thursday. Zeb Aurelius appears, and he was the one. And if you've been watching me on Rebels Revisited, I said he is the least likely to appear in Ahsoka, because I don't know if they'll be able to do his creature performance correctly. And he also adds the least to the plot, frankly, like based on all the characters, and they're very like they're moving plot lines. I was like, he's easily in this, not just the 6th or 7th place slot. There are like guest starring characters who I think are more likely to be relevant and interesting for the Ahsoka show or Mando. You'll never see Zeb. I gotta like find the audio so I can put it next to like Mark is always wrong, which is like a running theme on Rebels. there he was. And Steve Bloom did the voice. It was amazing. I was so happy to see it. I was thrilled to be proven wrong yet again. And I thought they did a really nice job with his mocap. I believe it was like creature with mocap overlay. Obviously, Steve did the voice. The wrinkles in the face, like everything about the facial structure, like it just looks so clean and good. I almost think it was like a test run of like, can we get this to really work for the Ahsoka show? Let's throw him into one scene here chatting with Paul. Just to almost like literally a beta test. But it looked phenomenal.
And that scene had so many Easter eggs. If people didn't spot it, the three sitting at the bar, Filoni, Fukuyama, and Deb Chow.
No one important, just randos off the street,
I literally just updated my cover photo on Facebook to the shot from behind Dave and what's his face while they're sitting there, and you can see Deborah's face and Zeb at the other end of the bar.
Amazing. I love that kind of stuff, because if you know it, it, and you're rewarded. And if you don't know, it doesn't matter. We're just in a really cool bar scene with a bunch of interesting fighter pilots, and it's pushing the plot along. And you're seeing this really cool, interesting creature. But if you know it's Zeb, you're like, we know what happened to Zeb. Now, where's his husband Callus? We don't know. So
you've just taken the words out. You just took the words out of my mouth. Where is Hot Callus? That's what we all want to know.
Exactly. That's a tough one, because like we have to recast, right? Like we need a new actor, and so who's going to be the new Hot Callus, and 10 years older. So I actually wonder, in my mind, Callus was going to be someone we would see in the Ahsoka show. Like he made sense to me. He's also Fulcrum. He's a former Imperial, and if the Ahsoka show is going to be the thing we think it's going to be, we're using the World Between Worlds to sort of look back in time, and maybe what if, and maybe there's different decisions that would lead to whatever else. I do think what I've read though on Reddit, and I don't know if any of this is true, but there's this thought out there that it's not really time travel, it's time viewing. And no matter what decisions are made in specific moments, the outcomes are still going to be the same. But someone like Callus makes sense appearing in that because of his importance to the Imperials and the Rebels, and like his connection with Ahsoka and everyone else, and being a Fulcrum. So he would make sense to me. I still had Zeb so low on the list. It's so crazy. But who knows? Maybe Zeb will be part of the Rangers of the New Republic. I'd watch that show. That would be really fun.
Yeah, but it does sort of paint a picture, doesn't it, of them really, really building up to it now, because we know we've seen Hera in the trailer. Yeah. We know we've gotten to see Sabine. The talk of the Ezra casting is probably going to be finally signed, sealed, and delivered at Selly. We know we've seen Chop, but I think now the build up, apart from Big Bad Blue, as we've already talked about, is surely there has to be a place for Jason.
Yes, Jason Syndulla.
That has to be the way forward. I think it's and it opens up the avenue again for a new Force sensitive, if indeed they decide to go down that route. So that's a whole other level of storytelling of which they can go through. So it's endless possibilities from the minds of Filoni and Favreau as they put this crazy shindig together.
Yeah, in my fantasy, Ahsoka is the teacher to Jason Syndulla. Like he is her Padawan. And then he would actually be in the same lineage as Vader, and in Obi-Wan, and that amazing line, right? That lineage is incredible. It branches from Vader to Luke, and then to Ahsoka on one side, and Luke has a whole school. That's a whole other thing. But I think Jason being under Ahsoka would be just like so fitting, especially because she had such a connection with Hera and everyone else on the Ghost, and Kanan. In fact, I was thinking recently there's that Kanan could appear in live action as a flashback, especially when he has the helmet that covers his eyes. Like that's easy to cover the appearance of someone when they have like a big mask, right? You just need Freddie Prinze's voice, which is he has a Kanan specific voice. It's not really his natural speaking voice. So I think he could really bring that character to life, and do it well. So I'm hoping for all this. I realize there's a lot of fan service and a lot of Easter eggs in my head. And I really just wanted it to be a good show. But these other little things, like if we saw live action Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan, I think I'd lose my mind.
And I've no doubt that there's going to be a role for Ashley in some shape or form. There has to be.
Without a doubt. We talked about that last week as we were going through all the panels. Like if they do an Ahsoka panel and Ashley's not there, people will burn down the stadium. Like it doesn't matter. Like trust me, everyone loves Rosario, but like people love Ashley, and if they don't announce like that she's included and has some type of role, there are going to be riots. And look, Star Wars people riot over everything. This is one though that I think would be a very united riot. So we'll see how that all plays out. Okay, continuing down the exhibitors, obviously go to Funko, go to Hasbro, go to Lego, go to Denuo Novo, visit the Pins on Fire booth, which I think is going to be really cool. Another must attend, I think, is Del Rey Books. And if you were looking for Del Rey on the site, you didn't find them because they're listed under Penguin Random House. They're at booth S409. That's their parent company, obviously. So here's their description. Star Wars Cataclysm, exclusive to Star Wars Celebration. This limited edition sprayed edge will be signed by the author who will be attending the celebration. The next adventure in the High Republic, set after the events of Convergence and the Battle of Jeddah. After the thrilling events of the High Republic Convergence, the Jedi race to confront the path of the open hand and end the forever war. So Star Wars Cataclysm, new book, signed by the author, doesn't list the author, but in the High Republic space. I am not caught up on the High Republic, I hate to admit. I know the boys on Sundays who do Jedi Archives, they talk a lot about what's happening with all the books and everything. If you want to get up to speed, you can tune into them, or you can read the books. I would keep an eye on the Del Rey Twitter. They're actually very good about posting what authors are appearing when and when they're signing. I think among all of the licensees, they probably have the best social media in terms of telling you what's happening when, and they're very good at keeping that up to date during conventions. Other places will post about it a week in advance and day of and never again. Del Rey does a great job, like more than almost anyone, I think, in any. You ever been to New York Comic Con? They will tweet you 10 times during that day to let you know when said author is coming at 1 p.m. Eastern to sign that book. So follow them on Twitter and everywhere else, and definitely swing by their booth. Get a look at their schedule. They'll probably have a big poster in front of their booth with like all of their signings and times, and then you could just add that into your schedule if you're able to roam around and do that kind of stuff.
And speaking of authors attending, it would be remiss of us if we didn't mention our good friend and Blues Harvest member, Mr. Nick Brokenshire, who will be there who will be doing some signings, I believe, with for his Jackson run. So that's gonna be really good as well to see.
Yeah, there's so much happening at the in-booth level that's not just on like the Star Wars Celebration .com site, right? My recommendation would be to click in all the vendors that you're interested in and go to their websites, but then click into their social media. And as much as like Twitter is a hellscape and I'm trying to figure out how to like depart, it is the best way to get news in the moment and regular updates, especially at a show, because you can just tweet like, hey, we're doing this now. Hey, we're doing that now. Hey, this is coming later. Lots of posts that just enter the timeline. Twitter will be an invaluable tool throughout the show, unfortunately. The platform is just built for that. And if you follow all of these guys on those channels, you'll know what Diamond Select and Prop Store and everyone is up to throughout the day.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, I know the next one was one you're very excited about because this is more so in your collecting space. Do you want to talk about Diamond?
Yeah, so Diamond Select / Gentle Giant, you'll see those two interchanging a lot of the times, but they are effectively the same thing. And we'll just read you the description and then we'll talk about them a little bit more. So Diamond Select Toys and Gentle Giant Limited are your source for the highest quality Star Wars collectibles. From busts to statues to jumbo figures, there's something for every kind of collector. All designed, sculpted, and painted by the artists at Gentle Giant. Come by the booth to get some cool exclusive, as well as fill some holes in your collection and get a good look at what's coming in the future. So they are going to be at booth S200. So in particular, this will be of interest to probably people like ourselves who are enormous Rebel fans. I'm not sure if too many people, I'm sure everybody who's watching this or at least listening in is familiar with Gentle Giant. Some of their Rebels busts were absolutely amazing. They did the Zeb Aurelius one, which was gorgeous, and they are releasing a half bust of Zeb at the moment. I'm not sure in the States whether it's out yet or whether it was still available for pre-order, but it is gorgeous. The detailing on it is amazing. They also produced one of my favorite Rebels busts was that they did Ezra standing on Chopper. If everybody remembers that one when it first came out, it really did blow people's minds. There's also a lot of their full-size Stormtrooper busts, which are beautiful as well, but they do cover all ends of Star Wars. But I think something that may be particularly interesting to people is with what's going on with potentially live action Rebels. I can imagine them expanding into the more into the Rebel side of things. They are a little bit expensive. I've seen them range from anything from $120 all the way up to 400. Some of them are going for insane prices on Evil Bay at the moment. Some of the older, more rarer collectibles are in the sort of $700 to $1,000 range. But
crazy.
yeah, and a lot of their releases are sort of limited editions. So whether it's 350 available, 500, 1,000, they will sell quickly. So I'm not sure what their stock list is going to be like, or whether they are just doing similar to yourselves and that they will have everything on display and they will push people towards the website. But if there are offers,
they always
there,
have a good display at least.
Very much so, and quite a varied display as well. To be fair, they sort of showcase everything that they have. But if you're hemming and hawing about something that you see, maybe there's going to be some sort of an offer on, don't second guess it. Just go for it, because eventually it will go fairly quickly.
So I'm on their site right now, and I pulled up. They have a Rebels specific section. They have 4 Rebels pre-orders right now. I mean, Rebels is beyond not dead. Rebels is more relevant than ever. We couldn't have launched our show at a better time. Here are the 4 pre-orders for Rebels. Sabine with blue hair, and she's got her little spray paint gun. Zeb, that's a mini bust. So Sabine, the mini bust is 150. So good. I think it's one of the best looking on the whole site. The Zeb mini bust, which is 130, the Ahsoka Tano mini bust from the final moments, and her like Ahsoka the white, but it really looks like it's gray, and she's got the owl to the convor, and her staff. Like that is peak Ahsoka right there. Ezra Bridger looking very live actiony. He actually feels like a live action interpretation of the cartoon. He's got like very human features. And then it's also the same as Kanan. Kanan's not on pre-order. He's on in stock. But that beard looks like for realsies. And then there's a Darth Vader from Rebels, which we all know Darth Vader is Darth Vader, but there is like a Rebels look to him. And you can immediately tell based on the size and scale of the helmet that this is Rebels Vader. There's also Rebels Darth Maul and Rebels Captain Rex, big boy Rex. So it is quite the assortment. And believe me, I have hemmed and hawed myself about like, will I get some of these? I'm usually more in the like high quantity, low price point kind of space, even though I work on super high end items. 1, for space, I live in New York City, and 2, like I know me, like I'll knock these things over. Like I'm just that kind of clumsy guy. But these look incredible, especially the Ezra one, which is one of their newest pre-orders along with Zeb. So
yeah, and they also did. I remember. I think it was New York Comic Con last year. Actually, it was New York Comic Con last year. They did a Thrawn exclusive jumbo figure that ranged for about $80, and I think it sold out in just. I don't even know. I don't even know how quick it was. I don't even think it was minutes that it was gone. So real.
Not surprised.
But very good value for money as well. Like it's collectibles. That's definitely not going to depreciate in value. It holds its value for sure.
And there's a whole Mandalorian section that looks incredible. There's a mix of jumbo figure for Ahsoka Tano. We've got a mini bust for Koska Reeves. We've got a regular bust for Bo-Katan. That's $200. There's this big Boba Fett on the statue on the throne, which is a statue for $350. So there's like a good, like you said, good range of product, like $80 all the way up to like $400 or more. These are fantastic. And by the way, like I don't work for them. I get no say in this. Like, I'm not getting any kickbacks or anything. Like Gentle Giant is a fantastic licensee. They've had this license for a long time. I'm pretty sure if you're watching our channel, you know who Gentle Giant is. They make a great range of product. And I would definitely swing by their booth. Even if you're on the fence about buying something, their displays are incredible. Like their range of product is inspiring. Like I wish we had this many items,
They actually did, now that I'm thinking of it, they actually did a Gamorrean guard for St. Patrick's Day. They did like a St. Patrick's Day exclusive of the Gamorrean. But again, the busts they're beautiful and they're so sturdy as well, which for display purposes is what you want. You knock something over and it smashes. That's not going to be the case with the Gentle Giant stuff. So
very cool. All right, let's continue down the list of, we're getting now into the, like, I would say, swing by if you can. Although there's probably one more. There are actually probably two more that I think are like must visits, because they're not really accessible. They're not stores that you could just like walk into anywhere. The prop store, their booth S345. Now I remember a time when the prop store was like the place to go to get screen used, things from the films, and they would go up on auction. I believe that's still the case. And at one point, like I was subscribed to their catalog when I was at Tops, because we were potentially going to buy something from there. I don't know at the latest, what their range looks like, or if they're, because at this point, Lucasfilm is very particular about holding on to that stuff. Like I don't know if they've been able to expand their collection beyond the classic trilogy. Like I think anything that's been Disney made is probably more so not under wraps, but like held by Disney, right?
Is it still the same setup? Like they have auction and then you can actually just buy the product outright? Is that still the case for them, or?
I think there are some buy it now kind of things. Yeah, let's see. They have, if we go to their website. Oh my God, let me click back on website. Get with it. And nothing wants to work right now. It's this Star Wars Celebration 2023. I'm going to find out more over here. Oh my God, it brings you to the Star Wars Celebration website. That's no help. Visit the prop store team at booth S345 and see an exciting advanced preview of movie props and costumes from our upcoming 2023 London and Los Angeles auctions. Okay, so it sounds like they're doing two auctions in person. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with the way their business operates now, but I know they used to have a catalog and you could just like buy things out of the catalog.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I don't think they're getting the same quantity of items though that they used to. Like I don't know if there's anything in here from like the new trilogy, because Lucasfilm would have that very much under wraps, right? Like they wouldn't be able to get their hands on it as easily as they did from the classic trilogy, is my thought. Still worth checking out. Like that, I remember in Celebration 2015, they had the dress that Carrie Fisher wore from A New Hope, like the white dress, right? Like, and that was one that like I don't even think that was for sale. That was just their display piece to lure you over there and be like, look what we have. And that's fine. Like that needs to be held in like safe hands. If anything, like I would want Disney to own that again and have it in a museum. Like as I think about what the Lucas Museum was going to be, that kind of thing gets put in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna swing by Prop Store because they've got some cool stuff. I remember they had like a slice of the Death Star that was like from the model. They have the most random stuff, you guys. Like it's kind of.
I think
awesome.
I remember seeing a collection like Rancor teeth at one point.
I believe it. Anything from the like original trilogy that they were able to get their hands on, they got it. Models and paint masters and all sorts of stuff. Scripts.
Storyboards used to be a big thing for them, wasn't it? They would sell like storyboards or concept designs.
Yeah, their business has changed significantly. I think over the last I think since Disney took over. Like I don't know if they can still do that as much anymore, but their website still has a ton of great stuff on here. And actually, if you go into their auctions, it'll tell you like all the auctions that are coming up. Let's see. Yeah, there's one that just happened, or one that's happening now. Maria Doyle Kennedy charity, Young and the Restless. They're kind of everywhere. Entertainment, memorabilia, posters, more posters. Yeah, there's a lot of, there's a Marvel one, Marvel Television. So yeah, that's a past one. They've got quite the stack still. And then I would say one other must watch or must visit at the show would be Acme Archives. That's booth N551. That is the fine art licensee for Lucasfilm. And we know that there are numerous people in the fandom who create art under Acme for Disney. So very excited to see what they bring to the show.
Did you see the Echo Base Darth Maul ice cream sundae?
No, I've not seen that.
Have a look at that one. That's on my list to get it. I seen it last night and I said I've got to get this. Let me see if I can pull it up here as well. Hang on. Echo Base I'll search for. Yep. No, that's the Echo Base root beer collectible. There is a Darth Maul chocolate.
That's awesome.
No, all that's up there at the moment is the Steve Thomas Echo Base Root Beer Outer Rim Territories. Always cold, always refreshing. No, I can't seem
Oh, I
to see
see
that
it.
one.
Root beer collectible pin. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
super
here's the.
cute.
Actually, apologies. It's the Dark Malt Dark Malt milkshakes.
There it is, Darth Malt. All right,
There it
Darth
is.
Malt,
Yeah,
Malt. So if you go to Acme Archives, Darth's Malt milkshakes, strawberry chocolate, and villain. That's, oh my god, that's really cute. So it's a pin. Yeah. By the way, I forgot they did pins actually. Pins are super hot again. They were big for like 10 years ago when I was going to like Star Wars weekends at Disney. That I feel like that was even toward the tail end of like pins being like the hot thing. It started in like the early 2010s, and I remember pin trading was gigantic. And now you go to conventions and people bring these like binders that you flip through of like pins sorted by character, park, this, that. We spent hundreds of dollars on pins of just various stuff, including a bunch of Star Wars limited edition ones, and they end up in a box. And it's like we should at least get like a pegboard and put some of the big ones up. My husband and I actually had Chip and Dale as our cake toppers for our wedding. They're our favorite like Disney characters, and they always use those guys to go on adventures throughout the parks and stuff. So we have a lot of Chip and Dale pins. But outside of that, I was like, we need to get rid of everything else. I was like, give some to my niece, put some on eBay, get rid of it. We need to make room because new stuff is coming in like this. Like I've got to get this Darth Maul milkshake thing. So if anyone sees this at the Acme booth and wants to pick it up for me, I'll get you some cash. All right, so definitely swing by Acme. Let's see what else on the list. I would say Elite Clothing seemed interesting to me. Booth S672. Are you a diehard Star Wars fan looking for the perfect way to show off your love of a galaxy far, far away? Look no further than Elite Clothing, exclusive collection of Star Wars themed T-shirts featuring iconic characters, memorable quotes, and breathtaking artwork. So I don't know how many more licensees we need for T-shirts for Star Wars. However, I went to their website and their stuff looks really cool. So there aren't a lot of apparel licensees attending. And like I mentioned, Her Universe isn't going to be there, which was a little bit surprising. But I think Elite Clothing, they had a mix of menswear and women's wear. It seemed largely T-shirt driven. And they do have an exclusive, which I thought was very exciting, a Mandalorian helmet T-shirt, 100% cotton. And it's, what does it say? A lone gunfighter makes his way through the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. So, pretty general plot point right there. But I think it's a neat design. And definitely, if you need a T-shirt and if you need something to change into, want to get some shirts and you can't make it into the Celebration store, I think Elite Clothing would be a viable alternative for sure.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting one. They're a UK-based company, as far as I know, but that's all I'm aware of for them. So that'll definitely be one to watch out for if you're a T-shirt, sweater, or hoodie collector.
Yep. And there's one other apparel one, booth S440 Heroes and Villains apparel. Their website looked really interesting as well. So again, if you need something to change into or some new shirts, you're just looking to build out your wardrobe. I've been wearing this in Celebration 2015, 17. We can keep track. Probably 17. I need some new T-shirts to add to the list. And then other vendors. Go ahead.
It's supposed to be BB-8 as the little orange board?
Yeah, it must be Orlando. It's got to be.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Orlando. Yeah.
It's 2017. It's BB-8 as an orange. Which I don't know why I have the stupid shirt too. Like I should have put it into my. We made a big quilt of all of our old T-shirts. Nice. And this one should have made the cut. I don't know what happened. But I'm actually really short on Star Wars shirts now. Luckily, I went to our TeePublic store and I bought my Corky Kreese shirt. So I have that, and I've got my Rebels Revisited various versions. And by the way, call to action for everyone from the VCN. If you bought any VCN merch, bring it with you to Star Wars Celebration. As we're going to events, like wear your jersey, wear your T-shirts. It'd be great to represent the VCN. I know I'll be bringing my jersey and my Rebels Revisited shirt. And my Corky Kreese shirt. So we've got a few to bring when I'm not wearing my Denuo Novo T-shirt at the booth. So definitely represent the VCN if you have any merch. And I know there will be merch for sale at Boonta Eve as well. So
there's also a group photo op.
Yes,
Saturday afternoon. I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that. But
we'll put it up on the Facebook page.
Definitely bring, if you bring anything, grab it and throw it on before that shoot, and show up even if you don't have VCN apparel. you can come and join the photo regardless. But
Mhm.
it's always nice to represent in the photo. We have a really cool shot in Anaheim with 99% of the people in the photo have a VCN shirt on. So
Yeah, I think we'll literally be just running straight out after our panel because it starts just as our panel is ending. So as soon as it's over, we'll try break down and run out to it.
I think we should do the photo at the Denuo booth, so I don't have to leave.
Hey.
So quick other list of vendors that I think you should check out. One, Tops will be there at booth S240. I actually don't know if anyone from the New York office is going. I have to reach out to some of my former coworkers and see who will be there, but they have an office in the UK. Obviously, they're the official licensee for trading cards. They're not part of Fanatics, but still they are Tops, and the Tops branding is still around. And technically, they are the longest running Star Wars licensee. I remember my first convention with them in 2015. Our banner read "Strong with the Force" since 1977. And that is largely not true for most licensees anymore. People who are hanging in from the beginning are largely not around, especially after the Disney acquisition. A lot of that changed over. Kenner would be the only other OG who got sucked up by Hasbro. So not 100% truly there since the beginning. And like, if you count Kenner, yes, but they're really part of Hasbro now. But Topps really standing alone as like the one true, or they are the chosen one. And they've been hanging in. They're still making trading cards. They actually just did something for The Mandalorian, I think season 2. So they'll be at booth S240. I have no idea what they have planned, whether it's the apps or the physical trading cards or what they're going to have. I know I'll be swinging by to see the team. And I think it's a worthy stop for anyone else as well. If you're interested in trading cards, if you play the digital trading card games on the app, they're just a fun booth too, and they usually have a giveaway of some sort. Couple other ones. I think Hot Flips is a critical one for everyone getting autographs. They have protective sheets for autos, comics, posters, things like that. This is really like a service more than anything else. And it's always something that I forget to bring with me. I never remember to bring plastic sheets or like the hard plastic, like the protective covers. It looks like they'll have an array of stuff. They're at booth S772. What else do you think, Gary, on the list? Any other places we need to send people? I know you said Citizen Watch.
Yeah, I said Citizen Watches, but you've mentioned A1 and Forbidden Planet, which were two that I mentioned. Forbidden Planet, obviously, because it is the sponsored pin for Chopper, which you can get. One that's interesting, and a lot of the collectors will be interested in the Kotobukiya booth. Kotobukiya doing these amazing Japanese samurai-inspired Star Wars figures, which are incredible. They were very, very popular at one point, and then sort of people moved towards the Hot Toys and Diamond Select range. But some of the stuff Kotobukiya do are amazing. I have a couple of them. I have an amazing Samurai Boba Fett, which is just beautiful. And then
I've seen that. It looks very cool.
And then sort of like the white porcelain Vader, which is stunning as well. But they are really nice, and they are valuable collectibles to have in that their runs are always quite limited, and they're not exactly easy to get. I haven't seen a lot of Kotobukiya figs around here, certainly in Dublin, for quite a while, unless they're on special orders, as far as I can remember. They used to be seen in GameStop as well, but with what's happening with GameStop in Ireland over here, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, because it looks like they're not going to be here based on rumors. One that's actually been left out, Mark, that I came across, and it went unnoticed, and I'm going, this is something that we've got to visit, is Donut Dudes. It's booth S938. So you can get a various selection of galactic donuts, and they are also doing vegan options as well. So who doesn't love donuts?
Yeah. Look, I think that food is critical at these shows because we know what it's like waiting and dying in those fast food lines. So if there's a booth that I can go to buy a donut, and maybe they have coffee with it or something, God help me, it's going to be tea, isn't it? Maybe there'll be coffee with my donut. That will end up being lunch. Back at San Diego Comic-Con, our little trick was we would go to the Auntie Anne's booth and get like a pretzel and a cookie and a water and a diet soda, and that was lunch. Now that's terrible. That you can't live like that. Like that's something you can only do for a couple of days before your body fully rejects you. But it's doable. So I think the donut dudes, I haven't really looked at their like assortment. I don't know what they're bringing. I don't care. It's a donut. I'm in. So yeah, let's all. That's where we should do the group photo. Meet up at the donut dudes. So. Booth S938. Definitely put it on your list if you need a little sugar pickup, right?
Great name, by the way, as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to check that out. And then one other one I list a couple for you. Galaxy Toys is at S308. Superhero Gear is at booth N940. And Stance, who makes officially licensed socks. And I know them really well because they also have the partnership with MLB, Major League Baseball. Stance makes amazing socks. They're at booth N620. So I'm curious to see if they have any new reveals. Maybe there'll be some new Mando socks. Those are really cute. I'm excited to do a little bit of shopping for sure.
And Stance are also they are also the sponsor for the Chewbacca pin.
Oh, that's right. See, there's so many pins out. The pin trading for me, if I were attending as a fan, I feel like I would know all this stuff. But because I'm working my booth, there are all these things happening that even being like on the news desk and doing all the research, I'm losing track of like all the things happening at the show. There are so many panels. There are so many after parties. There are all these vendors who have things going on. Like it's a lot. It could be really overwhelming. So if I could give everyone one piece of advice, make yourself a schedule. You know, the show is Friday through Monday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are 10 to 7. Monday is 10 to 5. Plot out what panels, if you were lucky enough to get in the lottery and win any panels, add it to your schedule. It is in the app. Like you can use the app. Download the app. The app is super helpful when it functions. But my understanding is that the app functionality this year is much better. Add your panels into your schedule. Add your photo ops and your autograph sessions, and then figure out what else is out there and start plotting some plan A, plan B kind of things. You know, what do you want to see? What do you want to do? What booths do you need to hit? Are there exclusives at those booths that you need to get to early? And I feel like once you put pen to paper or finger to app to start like plotting out your schedule, it'll actually relieve a lot of the anxiety that comes with like the not knowing and the feeling overwhelmed. There are only so many hours in the day. It's like a 9-hour day and you need to carve out time for lunch. Once you like start plotting that out, like you'll feel like you have some control over everything that's happening at the show, because there's so much happening. It's wild. Are you scheduled and ready to go, Gary? Because I know you have like real things on the calendar. Like you're going to be on the main stage doing your podcast.
Yeah, we're sort of as set to go as can be. The panel is almost complete. We just have a couple of bits and bobs and polishings to be doing. But apart from that, we are sort of set. It's just more so a matter of working out how we're going to work Boon to Eve, which obviously we're a lot more free with in that we don't have to get everything officially signed off on. So for us, that's more just going to be a case of making it fun, making it enjoyable, and working out how we're going to give away all the prizes that we have in store for everyone. But yeah, we are sort of as set to go as can be. The one thing I would also add to what you've said is if you are in a group and you guys break apart, make sure anyone who's walking by the standby line for whether it's the store or the Funko, whatever it may be, make sure you keep everyone in the loop. If somebody is looking for something, put a text into your group to say the standby line is looking a little quiet at this time, because there are some days where there is a little bit of a lull in the day. So just make sure you keep your eye on the standby lines, that if they're not looking too bad, just jump in and wait. Don't second guess it, because within 5 minutes you can turn around and the line will be super duper busy again.
Yeah. I would say too, if you're for your cell phone, call up your provider and get your international plan so that you can text message as needed or whatever. I know we also plan on using WhatsApp. Now, I'm one of those where I turn off all of my push notifications from everything other than text messages. So nothing comes through. I need to go in and fix that so that WhatsApp messages push through. Otherwise, you're going to miss the conversation. So I recommend that everyone sets their push notifications to the things they think are going to be critical. For me, it's actually going to be Twitter, because I will get direct messages on Twitter all the time. And probably Instagram as well. And I'll want that to push to my phone so I see it like a text message. I think people should look at those preferences before they go. That way you don't miss out on the communication, because it's going to be hard to keep up with everyone during the time. You are going to split up. There are going to be 50,000 people a day like walking the halls, and it's a big convention. And if you're somewhere and you need to get in touch with someone, you're not even going to really hear your phone ring. Like, it's very loud. Just like the baseline level of noise in the show is actually quite loud. And in fact, one of the things I forgot to put on the packing list for everyone was like earplugs. Like, you might want earplugs or headphones to like drown out some of that noise, even just headphones on your ears to block out some of the noise, even if you're not listening to music or anything, could be useful, especially if you're like a little bit sensitive to too much noise or too much stimulation. It could be pretty overwhelming at these conventions. But yeah, communication is key with your group. So check out all your settings on your phone. I now have to like activate all these damn push notifications, and I know it's going to be the death of me already.
But also, just to sort of, I know we say it every show or anytime we've talked about communications, but we can put a big enough disclaimer on it. Do not rely on the Wi-Fi on the Excel Center, because it is terrible. It is awful.
It's really bad. We have contingencies upon contingencies at the booth for sure. And we're paying for dedicated space. And one of the guys was like, I will activate a hotspot with my phone when all else fails. And it wasn't if, it was when. It was like, when all else fails, there'll be a hotspot on my phone. And I was like, that's why I bring every charger as well, because your phone is you're going to eat your battery. If you have Twitter open and you're recording video and you're using your data, your battery is going to evaporate like the air. So you need to have your chargers with you. In fact, let's get into the last minute packing, because we're sort of in that space now. If we didn't mention it already, I think headphones or earbuds or something, especially if you struggle with like overstimulation, obviously your chargers and your cords, everything related to technology, and set those up with your phone company to deal with your international. Get your WhatsApp up to date. I didn't realize that like my WhatsApp like needed updating. Like, that's the kind of stupid stuff where it's like, you don't want to do that somewhere else. Like, get that sorted ahead of time. I also think printing your schedule, using the app, and scheduling out your day is super important. That way you can feel like you're in control of what you're going to do throughout the day.
And also, just make sure if you think of it before you go, whether you are using Android or iOS, do a backup beforehand before you leave. And then during the day, just in case ever anything goes wrong, if you are hooked up to the Wi-Fi, back up to iCloud or your Samsung account, whatever the case may be, because we have seen some horror instances where people have been using their phones, and during the day, for whatever reason, their phones break and everything on it has been lost. So just make sure you do a backup and keep track of everything at the end of the day. Hell, anything that's on your phone, maybe if you have even a small USB hard drive, just transfer it over to that for safekeeping.
I was recently, I went to Vegas a couple weekends ago, and one of my friends is one of those where like her voicemail box always clogs up. And I was like, delete your voicemails, like clear out your inbox, and even photos on your phone. Like, I usually do a pretty good job of taking photos off my phone or putting them up on the cloud or on a hard drive or on Snapfish. Make sure there's storage space on your phone. Like, do all this stuff before you leave. My plan for tomorrow, which is Sunday here in America, and I guess worldwide, is really prep day, and it's that kind of stuff. So I have my phone actually has plenty of storage on it, but I'm going to clear out some old voicemails that I've been neglecting. I want to clear out my inbox so that it's like not riddled with spam. I'm going to get all my cord set up. We've already double checked our passports, which, by the way, the most important, if you show up with nothing, you have to have your passport. Like, you can show up in underwear and your passport and you'll be able to go, but like, because you could buy clothes in England, right? Like, they have stores, but you need your passport and your tickets to get in. Those are the only things you need to truly attend the show. Everything else will just improve the experience. I always joke about the time I went on vacation and didn't pack socks, and so I went to CVS and I bought a 12-pack of like crappy white socks, and there you go. You can find socks in England, I promise. But like, you really need your passport, your tickets, which would include the celebration ticket itself, which should be on your phone because everything's digital now, or your badges if they sent you them, your QR codes for your autographs, your photo ops, whatever your digital QRs for like Boom to Eve, which I'm now attending, feeling very fancy. Cantina 2, which I've got my QR codes for that. I also take screen grabs, and again, I print everything out too. Like I said, it is MapQuest 1996 over here. I bring printouts as backups, because you never know what's going to happen. Your phone can fall in water. It could just get lost. It could get cracked. So have all that stuff sorted out ahead of time.
And also, just to say, for people who were lucky enough to secure places on the early panels, you will need to have your ID with you, because that is going to be checked against the name that is matched to your QR code.
Yeah, make sure you have your ID. I would not recommend carrying your passport around with you all day. That's my personal preference. I know some people would want it on them. I'd rather leave it in the safe at the hotel. I've also had people tell me I would never leave it at the hotel. I was like, that seems safer to me, but your personal preference. But keep an eye on that. You don't want to get stuck there either. The last thing you want to do is have to visit the embassy to find your way back to America. Like, that's a nightmare. Not that it's like a broke down palace situation. Like, it's England. Like, you're going to be fine. But even still, like, do not lose your passport. Keep an eye on those things. It's very easy to have like a bag swiped. I literally keep my wallet in my front pocket, which I know sounds like really childish, but I also find it more convenient. And you're not going to lose it. You don't want to lose your phone. You don't want to lose your ID. You don't want to lose all of your tickets. I know people are spending a ton of money to go to the show. It's an experience. We're flying to another continent mostly. So we want everyone to have a great time, and we want to see you at all the stuff too. So what else on the last minute packing? Don't forget your chargers and cords, like I mentioned, your medications. Make sure you put that in your carry-on bag, because you never know if you're going to get forced to check what would be your overhead. My little duffel always has like my allergy pills, and my nasal spray. That kind of stupid stuff. To the show, bring your refillable water bottle. The water, as I said, is highly drinkable in England. You're fine. Again, we're not going someplace that you're gonna have to worry about drinking the water, but and in fact, bringing a water bottle is great, because you can drink the tap and not have to worry about buying little bottles of water. The snacks are very accessible. They have mostly the same brands as America, and the ones that are different are usually better. The Cadbury chocolate in England is better than America. So you're good. The only concern, I think, is coffee. If you're a coffee person, seek out a coffee place. We found one in the general neighborhood that is specializing in coffee, not tea, because Jason and I, my husband and I, we know that's how we're going to have to spend our day. It's going to start with like a big coffee, knowing that like drip is just hard to find in Europe by comparison. And do your currency exchange. Try to do it early. It's actually on my list of things to do tomorrow, as opposed to doing it at the airport, so you don't lose like another 10 points off of the exchange rate. Because right now it's about 80% American dollar to the British pound. But you'll lose another 10 points if you have to do it at the airport right there ish. It's quite the inconvenience fee. Anything else that's super hot, urgent to put on the packing list? We did a really comprehensive show a few weeks ago for all things packing, so you could always go back and watch that as you're getting ready to go.
I think a big one to mention is we touched on it for anybody needing to go to hot flips, for protective sheets, for autographs, comics, and posters. So make sure you have plans in place for what you are going to be bringing home. If you are bringing artwork home, make sure you have a good solid poster tube and maybe even some layers of bubble wrap just to be bringing that. If you are getting artwork signed that needs to be flat packed, make sure you have some sort of cardboard or supportive card or diary or binder to be able to put them into. I know Spencer is particularly a fan of the binders for keeping everything safe stored and locked away. So just make sure that anything that you are getting signed or anything that is valuable that you are planning to buy, please ensure that it is well protected for traveling home, because we unfortunately have heard horror stories of people bringing things home and it didn't end well. I remember
getting destroyed in transit.
I remember somebody who bought a helmet from a brand that we will not name at a convention, and they put it into the hold and they just put it in the box thinking there was padding in the box, and it did not, let's just say it did not end well. So make sure you have appropriate packaging and supports to be able to do that. But also, if you are going for autographs and getting things signed and spending your hard-earned money on those, don't rely on the markers and pens that the stars have. Bring your own if there's a specific color that you're looking for something to get signed in, or a particular brand that is reliable, because with them signing so many autographs per day, they usually can run out, or they won't have a color that you are looking for. So if it is possible, invest in a good set of autograph pens and markers yourself.
And know when you get to the table, what you're getting signed. In some cases, you can get personalization, or if you paid extra for like their autograph plus the character name, have that stuff ready. Also,
Sticky
remember, it's not
notes.
a meet and greet. Yeah, sticky note. Yeah, they'll ask you how to spell your name. Know how to spell your name. Um, and say, if you're meeting, Hayden Christensen's a bad example because I think it's going to flow through really quickly. But if you're able to meet someone who might not have as long a line, and you're able to get them to write their character name or a quote or something, or if you pay extra for that kind of stuff, just have that ready and know where they want to sign. Both on, even if it's an individual photo, usually they'll ask you like where you want the signature. Know where it's going to be, what color it's going to be, what the name is, what they're signing. They need all those instructions. Actors will do what they are told. Don't let them decide. Just they're very good at executing, and I think that's true at all conventions for all types, especially if you have like a big multi-sign piece. Like, where do you want their name? Is it near their name on the poster, or is it near their character art, or is it in some type of hierarchy where it's like, hey, Pedro Pascal is on the Mandalorian poster, everyone's name is under him. The last thing you want is some random guy signing like big and like over Pedro. Like, that just like creates like the wrong hierarchy of the characters and autographs on the piece, right? So you want to know where they're going to be, and tell them before they start signing. Like, I think you need to sort of be on top of that kind of stuff. Usually they ask, but know that stuff going in, and don't like waffle at the table. If you hold up the line, people will start giving you a side eye, and they'll remember. They'll be like, oh, that's that guy that slowed down the line that time. I'm telling you, these people remember. They're nuts. But yeah, I think those are really the main keys for having a good convention, and staying hydrated. Like, just drink your water, kids. Bring your vitamin C. We just ordered ours, in orange. Emergency orange, to start the day. I like my vitamin C.
You can never have enough deodorant. We're just saying it now.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, for the love of God.
Yes. Well, I've got my Axe body spray, which is super potent. So never mind the actual deodorant that I'll wear, but like the Axe is like I said, straight boy Febreze. And we're also bringing Febreze to the booth. Just as a company, I like Febreze, and we'll spray it right on the carpet and all into the air. Because it's just stale air. Like, you're in a giant convention center with no ventilation for 4 straight days. But yes, bring your deodorant. Oh my God, shower. It's crazy that you need to say it out loud. Your band will hold up, I promise. They're all waterproof now, so it's not a problem. And yeah, it's a long day. Like, I reapply my deodorant, and I usually have to spray myself with with Axe by the end of the day, just because you're like standing and talking and exerting a lot of energy. You're going to get a ton of steps in. So if you also have some fitness goals, especially step related, bring your pedometer and check to see how many miles you're walking during the day. You'll definitely get it done. You'll undo it by eating all the fried food and the donut dudes, that we're definitely going to swing by 3 times a day. But at least you'll get your steps in.
Well, wasn't it Homer that said donuts? Is there anything they can't do?
It's true. Oh my God. I saw something recently. It was Homer and the Moo Moo, from the episode where he intentionally gains the weight to end up, it's my favorite episode. I just love him so much.
One of my favorite cosplays that I do.
You do not do Homer and the Moo Moo, do you?
Yes, I do.
You're too skinny, Jeff. Like, what do you do?
I have an inflatable suit that I wear.
Oh my God. I got to see
the Homer
that.
mask.
That's
and
amazing.
Fat guy hat and the Moo Moo and the drinking bird, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh boy, yeah, the bird that just falls over is the best. Him eating the Play-Doh is like an iconic moment in Simpsons history. So by the way, this is not a Simpsons show, but we could do a whole thing on that too. Let's get into the after parties, because we are coming up at the end of the show. We've got about 10 minutes left. Also, I did want to mention one thing. It's a great comment from Mike. He said to take a picture of your passport information and save it in an email, in case you lose your passport. That way you have like all the basic information. I think that's really smart. Put it in a protected camera roll. I don't know how many people have like an app that you can store photos outside of your camera roll. Maybe you have some photos that you don't want people scrolling through on a regular basis, and you need to store like a separate set of files. That's something you might want to put in there, is a picture of your passport and all of that relevant information. It would make it easier to replace, probably get you out of the country a lot faster as well if for some reason you're stuck. So very good advice. Thank you, Mike. All right, let's get into all the after parties, because we got to have some fun at this thing. So Wednesday is the Not So Virtual Cantina meetup. That's Wednesday, April 5th. at the Aloft Hotel. I think just hanging out at the bar, very casual. I do not think I'm going to make it because I don't think I'm going to arrive in time. But everyone else from the VCN who's attending the show, if they're there by then, and I think most of them will be. Spencer leaves today, which is why Jeff is producing. He will be there well in advance. That's going to be a lot of fun. I had a blast at last year's Not So Virtual Cantina. It was just in the hotel lobby and we all just sort of hung out. It was a great time.
Yeah, this will be at the WXYZ bar at the Loft. So if there's another bar, don't go there. Go to the WXYZ bar.
WXYZ. And then Bunta Eve is Thursday the 6th. And I think we've talked a lot about everything specifically having at Bunta. Obviously, it is, I think, the after party. It kicks off celebration, basically, right? It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got the Alderaan Idol karaoke. We've got numerous guests who are appearing. In fact, there is one change to the guests, though. Spencer texted me a little while ago. Ken Combs and Jonathan Cass aren't able to attend any longer for Bunta Eve. But we are thrilled, and if you guys watch the Thursday,
we're okay to announce this.
Yes, we're okay. Yes. He double checked. He said it's live. Marty Matulis, who played Vane from The Mandalorian, the pirate, he was just on the Thursday show. And by the way, he was a great guest. He is media ready, and he came with good stories, super engaging. I fell in love with him. So Vane, Marty Matulis, will
great
be
character as well.
Yeah, very cool character. And by the way, he looks nothing like his character, either in voice or demeanor or anything. I was like, that's you? It was shocking. And he was terrific. That was a very cool show. So if anyone missed Thursday's watch along, I would say that is among the must watches of the guests we've had on the show. Marty was spectacular. And you can meet him now. So one of the newer members to the Star Wars family, just introduced in Mando season 3. He escaped in the episode. Every other pirate died. He is the sole survivor. So maybe he will come back in a future episode or pop up in Skeleton Crew. That could be really cool. So hopefully we'll see more of him in the future, but you can meet him at Bunta Eve. What are you excited about for Bunta Eve, Gary? I know there's a ton of things happening.
For me, I think the big thing is I love seeing the guys from Blues Harvest perform live. That's just something that I really, really enjoy. But also, the chance to share the stage with Fanta. It's not very often that we get to podcast at the same venue with people we admire and people who we've known for quite a while. I mean, the guys from Fanta are absolutely amazing, and it's nice that there's just going to be so many varied guests there. But if I had to pick one thing aside from getting to meet all you guys again, I haven't seen Spencer since I was on vacation in Florida last year, so it'd be nice to catch up again. But I think the big one for me is just getting to see Blues. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
So warning now, I'm a hugger. So I will hug people until I'm told not to. So that's the default setting. That's gonna be me at the show. Now that COVID is mostly over. It was a little different last year, but I'm excited to see everyone more than.
So should I give you patches before that or after or what way?
Either way, as long as I get my patches, we're good.
I've got patches for you.
Remember I lost my mind in the past several weeks, and I was like, I'm not going to be going to the show. Every single person I've ever met needs to come back and bring me patches. And so people started doing that, which I kind of couldn't believe. But yeah, apparently there's a booty of sorts of patches for me from various people who have been like, oh, I already started getting you stuff, which by the way, I deeply appreciate. When I say these things in jest and then people actually do it, I'm amazed. We have such good
maybe something like this for you.
Oh my God, it's Thrawn.
Maybe something like that.
That's amazing.
Just one of the options.
Oh boy. You get a big hug then. So I am very, very excited to see everyone in person more than anything else. My favorite part of Celebration is just the hanging with the people. I always talk about the podcast meetup is my favorite part of Celebration 2019. And I was in the green room with the guests of guests, right? I have a photo with Dave Filoni. That's a moment that I'll treasure forever. But the podcast meetup, I spent hours there last year going to Bunta Eve, going to the queer meetup, which was really fun. There's another one of those happening this year. I want to say it's Friday. I got to double check. Just hanging out with people at the booth. People came to the booth to just take pictures with me and my helmets. That's amazing. So I'm excited to do things like that. I want to make it to the family photo. I know it's going to be tough to escape the booth. So I'm going to see if I can schedule my departure time, my break to sync up with that and get in the picture at least.
I would imagine they'd be able to accommodate maybe a scaled down version at the booth as well. So
Oh,
maybe
sure.
a couple of photo ops for sure.
Yeah, at the very least, like the producers, and like
Yes.
get Jeff and Spencer and Gary and
Well, I'm
like
not going to
people
be
come
there.
in,
Dave
and
left.
anyone. I keep doing that. So Spencer, but whoever just pops in individually, like it's selfie time. Like pick your favorite helmet, pose with all the Mando stuff. It's actually going to be a great photo op at my booth, and I'm sure various other booths as well. The Lego booth is always photo op ready. I have me in front of the summer vacation thing. Like I think I took a picture with every booth as I walked around. As a vendor, you get in early, so I was just walking around like asking people to take my picture in front of every booth and just bothering whoever was standing relatively close to said booth, being like, please take my picture, because it's like your one shot to do that. And I got to go to the Rancho exhibition, which is not happening in England, unfortunately. He
Yeah,
actually
it's
just
sad that
confirmed that
Steve's
on
not going to be
Facebook.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to ship all that stuff over there. Like, I get
much.
it. Like, it's very expensive, and they rely on people's donations. They're a not for profit, so it's tricky. Anyway, let's continue down the after parties. So we talked about Boonta Eve, and then Cantina 2 is the big one that closes out the show. So Boonta is going to have the guests we mentioned, lots of people signing, the karaoke competition for Alderaan Idol, and then Cantina 2, which is happening at the legendary O2 Arena, headlined by Ash, which I'm very, very excited about. Oh, just getting to meet, that was super cool, getting to meet Mark just on Zoom. In real life now, I'm going to have to figure out how I hug him as well. There's going to be a restraining order by the end of the show. Also there, Blues Harvest, Darth Elvis, DJ Elliott, Level Up Leroy, and I know there are guests who are popping up on stage, including Mike Quinn, which is very cool. There's also numerous signing guests, so we'll go through the list here. Robert Strange, who plays Hondo, the live-action version of Hondo. Paul Casey, who plays an array of creatures, including Admiral Raddus and Two Tubes. Paul Blake, who plays Greedo. We all know he shot first. Tom Hilton, who also plays creatures in the various Disney movies. Matt Denton, who does Babu Frick and BB-8, and a few others. Garrick Hagen, who plays Biggs Darklighter. Very, very cool. He's awesome. Andy Sekombe, who plays Watto. And what I'm missing one other person on here. I said Paul Blake, Tom Wilton, Simon Williamson, Max Rebo Lives, Dave Chapman, who also does BB-8, along with Matt Denton. I believe that is the full guest list for Cantina 2. So that's going to be really fun.
Provided any last minute surprises they have along the way.
Yes. I think that there will always be some of those popping in, right? And who's going to show up on stage. I'm excited to hear Ash do their Star Wars clone song. That's going to be really cool. And I think there will be special guests who pop in at Cantina. And then even without, like, I mean, this guest list is great already. It's going to be super, super fun. We've got our tickets. We're up in the balcony, because we only bought our tickets like a day ago. It's close to being sold out from what I could tell. Balcony 2, I think, is all that's left. So very close to being sold out. And then there are other things happening, like the 501st Bash is Saturday. The Queer Meetup is Friday. There's a few other things happening that I'm not as privy to. And of course, like, it's London, so there's always a party happening somewhere. I don't know if there's a podcast meetup. Like, that's the one thing I haven't spotted. Like, have you seen anything about that?
Either. No,
Yeah, I'm surprised because there are a good number. Like, we covered all of them on the show last week. We went through the whole list. There's a lot of fan sites who are attending the show. So I'm surprised that at like by the way, I'm staying at the Holiday Inn, like a 10-minute walk from the show. I'm surprised that one of the adjoining hotels doesn't have something like that already scheduled by someone, but who knows? What are some of the other things you have planned throughout the weekend of the show? You're doing a trip to Canary Wharf or any of that stuff?
We are, myself and Anne-Marie are doing the Harry Potter tour on the last day. I've actually I was able to take an extra 2 days off work, so I'm off the day before I fly out, and I'm off the day after as well. So
Nice.
I think it'll just be a case of staying around celebration. Like, this is Anne-Marie's first ever celebration, and the day we fly out is her birthday, so
Oh
it's
wow.
going to be an interesting experience. So London is probably a nice one to do, but I've no doubt there'll be a lot of plot twists and turns along the way. But we were lucky enough to get into the Bad Batch panel on the lottery. That was the only one that we were kind of guaranteed to get into. But apart from that, I have no photo ops or autographs planned this year. So I think it's more just a case of, for me, it's going to be snooping out the vendors, and the exhibitors is the big one for me. I normally don't get to do that, so it'll just be nice to literally go around and actually take in the atmosphere once the live show is done on Saturday.
Nice. One day I will attend a celebration as a fan and not a licensee. And until that day comes, though, I will be strapped to the booth and still try to walk around a little bit, like whatever lunch break or whatever else. I'm going to just do the lap. And of course, I'll get in early. And with that in mind, and maybe this sounds obnoxious, but if anyone wants to schedule interview time or video tours of the booth or whatever, reach out to me on Facebook. Like, my Facebook's open. If you don't already have my email address from being on like our press list for Denuo, we can schedule time for that. And I actually want to schedule some time to just walk around myself and take in the rest of the floor. That's the big thing. Yeah. Oh, look at that guy. Is he coming with you?
No, he's a little bit too heavy to be coming. I would have loved to have him at your boot with the handmade stuff, but no, this little guy, unfortunately, is a little bit too fragile.
That's the thing. Like, bringing stuff to cons, it weighs you down. And some things are not con friendly. Like, you can have a prop, but if it's too heavy, they won't let you in with it, and then you have to check the item, get it back another time, or they just like outright refuse like entrance, which is a whole other problem. Make sure, by the way, if you're wearing a costume, that your costume is con approved or approvable, and it's safe. And I also think I recommend dressing in layers and having options. I always carry an extra t-shirt with me. You never know if you're going to get spilled on or if it's just going to get really sweaty out of nowhere. Like, I always have options. Obviously, I'm going to be in gear at Denuo Nova. I'm going to be wearing our t-shirt, although I was thinking like maybe I'd wear a costume or something. It's too much though. Like, it's so much work to be in like a costume that whole time. I don't know how people do it.
If you don't want the Denuo t-shirt, I'll have it. No problem.
Yeah, I'm sure we can wrangle an extra for you. That won't be a problem. We don't make that many. We actually should do like a Denuo t-shirt, but that's not in our it's not really in our license, but I guess we could do Denuo t-shirts. I don't know. I'm gonna look into that. Just having Denuo gear. That would be fun. But anyway, that's everything to get ready for Celebration. I guess the other big news, other than the fact that I am attending Star Wars Celebration now, means that the news desk is going to tweak slightly. So we have two announcements related to the news desk. One, we have a name. It is not going to be the Intergalactic Newsdesk. It is going to be Celebration Nightly News, aka CNN. New trademark patent pending. This was Ashley's idea, so if we get sued, send the lawsuit her way. So CNN Celebration Nightly News will happen every night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of Celebration. Heading up the news desk will be Jeff, who's producing tonight, Dave, and Ashley Brianzo. And you guys know Ashley as my co-host on Rebels Revisited. The three of them will have some mix of who's on screen, who's producing, and the rest of the VCN, including Gary and Spencer and everyone else, will be sending videos, photos. We have like a Dropbox setup. It's kind of crazy. All the big news beats happening from the show. So we're already talking about what we expect to learn on like day one, what the major panels are. It'll be a recap of the major news beats, some videos, some photo, basically summarizing everything that happened each day of the show. As I mentioned, it'll happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That also means that there won't be a Star Wars Revisited on April 10th. It will come back on the 17th. We do have a Rebels Revisited this Monday, so just 2 days away, and this is not an April Fool's joke. We're officially announcing right now that we have a guest for Monday on April 3rd. Taylor Gray, Ezra Bridger himself, will be our guest on Monday, which we're very, very excited about. I love Taylor. He's a great guy. He is a fantastic Ezra, and we're going to talk all things Ezra on Rebels Revisited. And then we'll have the week off for Celebration, and we'll come back with more really interesting stuff for April. We've had two guests in a row now. We had Phil last week as the fifth brother, and now Taylor Gray as Ezra. So we're getting more into that territory, as it were.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so a lot going on the VCN. So obviously make sure everyone tune in for, all right, so what's going on this week? We've got Rebels Revisited, as I mentioned, on Monday. I believe tomorrow is the Jedi Archives. Tuesday, happy hour. Wednesday, not so virtual Cantina meetup in real life in England, if you're going to be there. Is there a watch along on Thursday? I thought no, we've got the news desk. So there's no watch along. So it'll be the news desk Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then back to regular schedule after that. But it's all celebration all the time now.
I believe Dave and I will do watch along since there will be an episode of Mandalorian.
All right, so you're still gonna have new.
I don't know. We
watch on
haven't.
Thursday.
I don't know if we even discussed that, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe we'll double up the next week. Who knows? We'll see.
Okay, keep an eye on the channel for details, everyone. We're figuring it out because there's a lot happening. I mean, 4 nights in a row, the crew in America is going to go live with hour-long coverage of everything that happened throughout Celebration. It's a lot to ask people to be on air throughout the week. It's kind of crazy. I'm having palpitations and I'm not even doing it. But yes, very excited to be out there at Celebration with the rest of the crew. Hope to see you guys out there. If you come by my booth, you'll get to say hi to me. I know Gary has a podcast on the Holonet stage, so make sure you go check out Blob of the Hot live at the show. And of course, follow all of our social channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, which I know they're doing a really nice job with getting up and running to keep up with all the news that's happening throughout Celebration for the VCN.
Perfect. And just to say an enormous thank you to all of you guys for all you're doing in the build up to Celebration. There's been a lot going on the VCN and you guys are handling it so smoothly. So, hats off to all the crew and Jeff behind the scenes there.
Thanks.
You're all doing a remarkable job, and hopefully all the hard work pays off. And when we're over there, we can send back all the relevant info you're going to need to report on the news.
Yes.
Yeah, the team behind the scenes is incredible. And wait till you see Boon to Eve. Like, I know the amount of work that's been poured into this is incredible. And it's going to be an awesome event. It was amazing last year. It's going to be even better this year. And I got to tell you, like, the singing was good last year. I got a little peek of some of the, the talent for it's bonkers how good, like, all of a sudden it's American Idol, like, for realsies. Like, the talent is incredible for 2023. So that's going to be really fun. Oh, and Spencer just texted. Apparently Thursday there will be a watch along and possibly with a guest. So yeah, don't forget Thursday to tune in. Marty was amazing last Thursday. So you'll definitely want to check that out. And most importantly, Rebels Revisited Monday with Taylor Gray, the lead of Star Wars Rebels. Very excited about that. And then, man, CNN Celebration Nightly News starts on Friday. So block your calendars if you're going to be home here in America to keep up with all the news. And I think that's it for this week.
That just about does it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. It's been fantastic running the news desk. We will see you in England. So everyone, safe travels, and may the force be with you.
Okay, 1 second. Oops.